What if you didn't have to hunt for new clients? What if you were the go-to expert of your industry that people are lining up to work with? In this episode, I'm going to get into a single piece of content that I released that disappeared in 24 hours, and only 20 people saw it, and I got $15,000 from it. We aren't just a video production company. We are business solution-driven creatives. And this is more than meets the eye. So I once made a Facebook story post, and this went away in 24 hours, as those posts do. And you could even argue that only 12 of those hours are the ones that people will actually see. And usually when I check this on my personal for who has viewed and what's calculated, it's no more than 20 people. It's very small. But what's interesting is the video I recorded of myself, selfie style, walking around in my office, and then just the way that I communicated it made sense to the right person. It also ticked off another person. But in that same video that disappeared in 24 hours, helped bring in someone who was already doing a podcast, but it wasn't video style. So we ended up getting a yearly commitment with them worth $15,000. And that's awesome coming from one single piece of content. One single piece of content could change the trajectory of your business like crazy, or even just bring in your top dollar revenue even more. And so that's why it's important to keep going and to keep doing things. And what's very interesting is this disappeared in no more than 20 views, like I said. That's what I mean by it's not about width. It's about depth. You just need to get in front of the right person to make the right difference for your business. That's why views can sometimes, most of the time actually, become vanity metrics as well as followers. Those are just the flashy things that we see, and it's measurable, and we see it as a number, and then we have that dopamine in our brain of like, was this value good or not? A lot of times that is good to calculate that, but what are you measuring? Are you measuring the far reach and people seeing a video for 3 seconds, 10 seconds? Or are you measuring sales? Are you measuring what that does for your business? And so that's why I say for all the people that were helping to become the expert of their industry, that they need a deeper way to go with them. And that deep way, I'll get to it in a second. So stay tuned. What do you do to go deeper rather than wider? And there's one thing that you do right away, and that's stop chasing the trends as your primary marketing campaign. I'll say that again. Stop chasing those trends and researching it just to do it, just so you get views, just so you can check off a box for marketing. That doesn't count. That's actually a little rock. It's good. I don't want to tell you to stop doing it and never do it. But if that's your only thing that you're doing, that's a little rock. You need to focus on the bigger rocks. What are the bigger rocks? And good for you if you're not on social media at all and that's what gets you on there, then cool. But what if you could be a little more strategic? Only do the trends that were the ones that businesses join in on to bring awareness of their brand. I don't want to say that views are always wasted, because I don't think they are. It builds your brand no matter what. But if you're only chasing the trends, doing the silent thing, pointing up at things, it's not going to go as far as if you're intentional before you do it and have a strategy and a plan for it. I'm just saying I'm here to give you part of that plan. So copy this play. This is what I was teasing. Long to short. So we got big rocks and we got little rocks. The little rocks are all the shorts. Yes, shorts, pun intended, as well. That's all the clips. That's what goes on social media. And long, as in the big rock. That's what you do first to catch all of the things and to fit it all into your marketing plan, or else it's going to become super overwhelming. So if you know where I'm going with this, then you know that in the illustration where if you want to fit things into a bag or into a cup, if you want to fit the rocks in there and you have on the table a bunch of little rocks and 3 big rocks, what are you going to do first? And if you grab those little rocks first and put them in there, you'll fill the cup a little bit, and then you'll fit a couple of those big rocks, but you're missing the last one because it won't fit anymore. That's just how it works. And it's a great like packing technique as well too. That's what I do. Just side note, whenever we go somewhere, I'm like, what are the biggest bags we have first? And then I put those in. And I come from being a musician, and musicians always find a way to pack more into their little car. And just side note. But that's what you got to do with your marketing is handle those big rocks first. Technically speaking, if you were to like pinch just a little bit and sprinkle that in of the little rocks and then do the big rocks, if you go deep within the analogy, you would probably be okay. But if your whole focus is grabbing all those little rocks, which is chasing all those trends, chasing all the social media, the clips, the 1-minute versions of everything, and that's your primary source of your organic marketing, your free marketing, the marketing that's all you, that builds your brand and tells your story, then it's going to be harder later on. You're going to have to rechange things. I want to advise that you copy this play and don't just take my word for it. Go and look it up. Go check it. Do your own research. You will see that when you have YouTubers who are on a longer form platform, make shorts to point people back to that long form. And that long form points towards life change, or it points towards the sale of the business, or that long form points towards more long form, which over time turns into business, or over time turns into life change, and so on and so forth. So it's very important to have a place for people to gather, to build the community, and that's what the long version of everything does. That's why podcasts work. Podcasts tend to become that. So I just kind of want to paint a picture of like, what if one single piece of content can change the trajectory of your business? That's what you're looking at. If you have the longer form, not only do you save your time as well, because when you shoot for that long form, then you're spending so much less time on the setting up the shorts. So you do the longs, and then our team or your team or someone can do all the other shorts based on that. And then you sprinkle in the chasing the trends stuff a little bit more. Like, it's okay to do that. There's a lot of people who are really good at social media who can make one viral piece of content in like one go, but you pay like $1 million, and I don't know how they actually guarantee that. It's very expensive, but they somehow do it. And would that be worth it to you? I don't know. But guess who is going to make a viral hit more? The one who's doing it over and over and over and has more at-bats, or the one that is just once a week doing something? See what I'm saying? So you're going to run out of time so fast. That's why if you do long, cut that to shorts, and you sprinkle in your own personal touch on things, your own way of reacting to things, your own way of doing selfies to come up with something, your own way of continuing to post even though you have a long form piece of content that's going out, cut into shorts. Who's going to hit a home run, basically? And I just went to the Royals game, if you're in Kansas City. I hope you're in Kansas City, the other day, and they hit 2 back-to-back home runs. Who's more likely to hit the home runs? Those who have just started and just came into it, or those who have been practicing and dedicated so much of their time to become a professional, and then they hit the ball and they focused on it and they've practiced over and over and over, but then in the game they get 5 at-bats versus like 3? Who's more likely to hit it? Whoever has more at-bats is more likely to get a home run. And not that you should always aim for a home run. A good old base hit is a good way to be a team player. And when you do that, that to me is comparing it to the big rock. So there's hitting a home run, and then there's winning the game. So if you want to win the game, you go up there and you focus on getting the base hit. But if you just so happen to get that swing and you hit that grand slam, then awesome. Great for you. Like, you're more likely to get the home runs. Think of home run derby too. Think of this. There's someone with 100 pitches and someone with 10 pitches. Who's going to hit more home runs? Trick question, because it's not about just how many at-bats. It's about how hard you've practiced as well. There's focusing on home runs, there's focusing on wins, but there's also doing your part, putting in the reps, learning the craft, getting skillful at it, and then having more at-bats and more opportunities. And the person with more opportunities will always win. What happens when you have more at-bats and then it goes viral? So you hit that home run and now something went viral. Now what happens? What do? Well, that's the thing. If you don't have that long piece of content, or you don't have that foundational piece of how to catch those people, you don't even have something on your profile, or you don't have a call to action, or you don't have longer content for them to go to. You might go viral with views, but what were you going viral with? What were you talking about on it? And then is that going to really help drive sales if you're after sales? Maybe not on that video, but how do you turn it into that? Well, there's a way to turn it into that. So you take what was good and then you react to it and you add on to it, and you know that creative works. So then do it again and get strategic with it. And then if you have long form content, when you drive people to that, let's say you get 1 million views on a short and then it pushes 10,000 people to your podcast platform or YouTube channel, and then 1,000 people subscribe because of that. That's 1,000 more people. I would rather take that than the opposite, because more time on brand is more important. If you don't want to take my word for all of this on the long to short play, look at Alex Hormozi. Look at Dave Ramsey. And I'm not asking if you agree with like these people and their what they're selling, but what I'm saying is this is how they do it. Look at all the other podcasters who are succeeding. What are they making? Shorts as well? Are they making podcast clips from it? Yeah, yes, you bet they are. Because this is the whole play. When you do long content, it's not just easier for you and saves you time, but you're building a subscription and a community and a platform, and then you're routinely putting yourself out there. So even if people don't even watch the video, they see that you had a video. And when they see that you keep making content, at first, maybe they're not likely to join in on it, but you just keep on keeping on. You do it over and over and over on the long form, and you don't stop. That moment that you feel like stopping because you think something's not working, you start measuring it wrong, you start getting negative, and you're like, I'm just not seeing it. And then you look back, and it's because you're also struggling somewhere else, and you just really needed to work, but you've already started something. Don't quit. Don't quit at that point. That is the valley of despair. That is that dip that if you continue investing in your brand during that time, it's like investing when the market is down. And then when the market goes back up, it's going to pay off exponentially when you invest in your downtime, in your slow season or whatever it is. So you just keep doing it, and people start realizing, man, you're a pillar, you're not going away. And it starts to look very attractive to people, and they want to join in on it. And sometimes people want to join in on it just because it's you, or just because they see that you're trying hard, or just because they met you, they had a good experience, and maybe they don't actually like your content per se, but they will continue to support you through that. And then once things start to pile in and they continue to listen or to see that you're doing stuff, they're more likely to talk to you, buy more from you. And really the whole thing is just be genuine, provide value. Don't just try to sell. You're trying to sell out of love and trying to lift people up and try to really help their business. And that's what made the difference on that single piece of content that I made that disappeared. And it was longer than a minute. I think it was like 5 minutes, maybe a 5-minute video. And it disappeared in 24 hours. It's crazy. Basically, what I'm saying is when your shorts start going out, it becomes the outreach for your longer form, and you're reaching more people because of it, then that all points to something even bigger, because you need a way to catch the kind of people you're trying to reach. And so when you go viral, the other question is, do you have more for them? Because if you go viral, that's a sign that people liked you
for a split second. Do you have more for them? Do you have more to offer? Do you know how to get more out of it, to ask more? Do you know how to push an ad based on it? And so those are all the things that when you go viral, it's not just sit there and hope. Sometimes that works for people because it's direct. The piece of content actually was directly attached to their business and operation, and they had a link, and then they go viral and they sell out, and they're like, oh man. But then they continue documenting the process and telling the story of, oh, we just sold out, and thank you guys so much. We're hiring other people now to fulfill all these orders. They'll be done as soon as possible, all that kind of stuff. I've seen that all the time from little like TikTok shops or things like that where it's individual owned and they're just kind of trying to do their craft, but then the internet just blows them up and because they really like the product and the person who showed it to them. So that can work too, but make sure that you always have something that's more for them. So I've also seen another thing too, where people try to push market first instead of building a catch and then building a platform, building a way to house a community, building that long form, building the brand, basically what to do. I've seen people run ads and they didn't even have a profile for one. And then for two, they run ads and that's the only piece of content. And so people are trying to share it, but you stopped running the ad and now they can't see it. Well, that was a good piece of content that they could have used and seen. If they go back from that ad and check out your profile and your profile is looking all empty, or it's looking like you haven't posted in a year, you haven't posted in 3 months, you haven't posted in 1 month, and you only posted a photo for an event that was coming up that you were trying to raise money for that looked like an ask, but your ad was like fantastic. And when they go back and check the profile, you're actually losing people there because they're measuring and seeing that it doesn't look like you're as dedicated to it as you're saying in the ad. You want to make sure that your profile is really good as well. So get that set up right. It's important. Even your little bio in your Instagram, that is very important. And then the link and call to action on the Instagram of what to do, or the TikTok. And it's all different. Use ChatGPT to help come up with it, but help people know that you're there to give value and you solve a problem. If they want to know more or book for that, then there's the link. That's my advice. Have one link. I know Instagram offers like 10 or a lot more now, but just have one because there's paralysis from analysis. And they kind of tried to become a link tree or a thing that has a bunch of links for one link. It didn't really accomplish much of it. I'd like to hear from some Instagrammers who's like seen success in the default Instagram way versus like using mini chat or using link in bio, link trees, metricool links, things like that help guide the buyer. And so it's always relevant to what they're doing. I'd like to hear in the comments if there's anybody that's been successful in that realm of things and just kind of gather that info and maybe share it on the show and just to see how we can better improve as a community to win more. With all this being said, long content now needs a lead magnet. You need a reason for people to take another step after the long form, which would be some sort of call to action or some valuable giveaway that you can now capture their information for so you can continue to work with them. And then they can get emails and be in your nurture campaigns, or they could become part of your regular email campaigns. And then things can go a lot deeper. So that's like specifically how to go deeper than wider. I know we've covered a little bit of that before, but also I want you to copy that play and use that into your marketing where you can go long form into short form, preferably video, but if not video, do it in other form. If you're into writing and you're successful with that, then do long writing, but then do short writing as well as advertisement towards the longer writing. Give little samples, some examples. I want you all to make sure that you are continuing to focus on that kind of who do you need to become to attract your ideal clients. Go back to another episode. We talked about ICP and we talked about CAP. We talked about customer acquisition channels and things like that. Those are great. Go back to those episodes. Go listen to them. They're not old. They're not outdated just because it's not last month. But that is the way that you don't go back to it. That's the way that other people don't go back to other older content. So you just got to keep saying it. Keep putting your message out there. Continue to do it. And as you gain influence, you start building your community, and your community also chimes in, and you know exactly how to directly impact and influence them to help them. And then they do the same for you, which is great. And then you become the go-to expert, even if you don't know everything. Being the go-to expert is not about knowing everything. Being the go-to expert of the industry is about being it and helping other people, and you become their go-to expert. And you teach on what you know. You don't teach on everything. You should not speculate without saying that you're speculating. Don't speculate on things that you don't know is true or not, because then you'll just lead people down a wrong path. Or if you're accidentally right, then that's cool, but you need to be transparent about that. I don't know much about this, but blah, 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 and then say it. I just want to encourage you guys to keep going, to keep trying, to keep putting out content, to keep focusing on the long form, and you can save so much time, put it in the short form, and then people see it. It becomes the outreach. If you're not doing both of those, if you're not doing long and short, you're missing out on a lot of organic marketing. So it only costs you time, unless you want to hire another company like us to do it for you. We'll do it for you. But it only costs you time to do it. It's really awesome that these platforms are free. When you put onto YouTube and you upload, that's free. When you put into Facebook, Instagram, that's free. When you put it into TikTok, that's free. It just costs your time to edit, to make it, to come up with the content, to help people. And that's it. Do as much as you can organically, and then see where that goes. Test the market, test yourself. Make sure that you enjoy doing it. People will see the passion behind it. And when they see the passion, they see the personality on video, then it really helps make you look attractive to that ideal client that you need to help their business. So if you really did enjoy this Rambo of an episode, then make sure to hit that subscribe button, because we're going to be helping you on your road, on your journey towards becoming the best known of your industry, and to help you help more people. So make sure and always check out the links in the description. Even if this video is older and you're listening to it later, we add new stuff into the description sometimes. So make sure to check the descriptions. We might even be giving away something that helps you start for free to start attracting your ideal clients. And just at the time of the recording, not sure about that. So for those of you that are not subscribed, please subscribe, support this channel. If you've watched more than 2 videos, just give in. Come on. This is where we're going. We want to see where you are. We want you to comment, and then keep commenting, and we'll see where you end up. And that'll be really fun for all of us. So this is definitely More Than Meets the Eye podcast and YouTube channel. So make sure to keep on keeping on.